Good afternoon, welcome everyone. Welcome to join us to stand for the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing is the approval of minutes for June 3rd and June 17th. Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries. The payroll for July 28th, 2014. Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries. The claims July 17th, 24th, and 31st, 2014. Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries. And the approval of the employee benefit fund distribution July 2014.
I'll make a motion to approve the employee benefit fund distribution for July 2014.
Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries. Okay. I'm going to kind of change up the order here a little bit this morning. We've got a little presentation we'd like to make. So, while he serves until August 14th, today is the last time that Porter County Highway Superintendent Al Holcomb will appear in his official capacity at the meeting of the Board of Commissioners. After 34 years of exemplary service to the people of Porter County, Al has chosen to enjoy a much-deserved retirement. Al Holcomb's service to his country, this county, and his family is a shining example of what is good and great about Porter County. Al was born and raised in Hebron, graduated from Hebron High School in 1966. Just out of high school, Al became a member of the United States Marine Corps, served with honor in Vietnam. After his service, Al became a licensed funeral director, working in Indianapolis. As I know all too well, the on-call demands of a funeral director place sacrifices of 24-hour scheduling and time away from your family. So Al decided to choose a different career path, one which, ironically, would place him even greater time demands on himself and his family. In April of 1980, Al began his employment with Porter County Highway Department as a truck driver and laborer. Just 3 years later, he was promoted to foreman at the Porter County Center District. He was responsible for the maintenance and safety of all county roads, bridges in that district. Because of his proven commitment, Al was appointed assistant superintendent in September of 1995. The longtime superintendent, Jack Jarnicki, passed away in 2003. The Porter County Board of Commissioners looked to Al's leadership to fill a very important role. Unlike most county government positions, county highway department employees do not follow the normal 8:30 to 4:30 5-day-a-week schedule. In addition to their normal work schedule, they are on call 24/7, 365 days a year to assure the safety of our county residents. Whether it be a bridge or a road repair or weather emergency, county highway department employees must always be available. For over 34 years, Al Holcomb has stepped up and met every challenge. On weekends and evenings, on a sick day or on vacation, Al has put the safety of our Porter County residents first. The extraordinary commitment was demonstrated this past winter during our snow emergency. Under Al's leadership, the Porter County Highway Department worked around the clock, 7 days a week, for 15 straight weeks to make sure that over 800 miles of county roads were safe for our residents. During his 10-plus year tenure as superintendent, Al has demonstrated unparalleled dedication to the people of Porter County. In partnership with the Board of Commissioners, Al helped devise and implement a long-term financial plan to upgrade highway department equipment to ensure that our roads and bridges remain safe and well-maintained. He was instrumental in introducing prefabricated bridges to Porter County, reducing the cost and labor requirement for bridge replacement. Throughout his tenure, he has experienced continued cuts in the amount of funding provided by the state for bridge and road maintenance. Yet Al has worked miracles in ensuring that our over 800 miles of county roads and 126 bridges remain safe and properly maintained. Al's commitment to his country, county, and community went beyond the Marines and the Highway Department. He has served as a member of the Hebron School Board and was involved in Hebron Little League. While our gratitude to Al for his service to the county is endless, we also must acknowledge and thank Al's family for their sacrifices throughout his career at the Highway Department. It is often said that behind every successful man is a strong woman. Together, Al and Sue, with his two children, two sons, and are very proud grandparents of 3 grandchildren. On behalf of the people of Porter County, we thank you, Sue, and the entire Holcomb family for their bountiful patience, understanding, and support for the last 34 years. In recognition of Al's service to his country, state and county, and community, and family, State Representative Ed Soliday and State Senator Ed Charbonneau are here today to present a very special award. Al, Ed, will you please come forward?
You know, Al, it's a rare occasion when we get to honor somebody who has been in the trenches, the snow and sleet and the cold, and who has served the people honorably, and has done a great deal for us with hands-on. We don't have to argue about your work. It's not political. It's just genuine. So with that, the governor has honored you by naming you Distinguished Hoosier, something we don't give a lot of things out. So with that, thank you, Al. Al, I graduated 1 year after my wife from the great Hebron High School. Without the two of them, I don't know how the state would have moved forward. Al, congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Where's your wife?
I didn't know she was saying that.
Something for you, for putting up with us all those many years. Very glad. Facebook, here I come.
Sorry to take her for this time.
You want to say anything?
I don't know what to say. It was always been a challenging job, and it was one of those that no matter who does it, it's never going to get. It just continues to grow. You're right. I need to thank my wife. 30-some years ago, woke up in the middle of the night and had to
Questions? Motion?
I'll make a motion to replace the machine on the Amron dispatch and the sheriff's server room with the mechanical contents for $147,714 to be taken out of jail as an increase.
Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, ordinance establishing a fund for the deposit proceeds from the rental of South County Park property. You first. All right.
So it's essentially established fund where depositing proceeds of the
You have the general license or schedule for the general charges for that, or? Question?
I'll make a motion to establish an ordinance for fund for deposit proceeds from the rental of South County Park property.
Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. We'll set it for second reading at our next meeting, and because of the policy fund. Two separate. Thank you. Upsold department heads, John Thomas, Director of 911, we're going to talk about texting for 911 and contract. You can actually go to your telephone and type 911 and text.
We should probably handle business first, and then we'll talk about the other, if we could do the contract first. The contract is, my assistant director was here last meeting, both Comcast and I forgot about one little kind of important thing. So we had to redraw the contract and just add another line in there, so that's what the increased cost is. So it's still coming out of our telephone, line item.
And you reviewed it, have you got it? Question? What is the increase cost?
The increase was, it was $160.
So questions, motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the master service agreement with Comcast for $657 and then extending the month to the pay for the
Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, now tell us about texting for 911.
We are one of the growing number of counties now. Actually, more than half now have the ability to receive inbound 911 text messages. This was all made possible by the statewide 911 board to provide the funding for this out of all the surcharges that they collect, and these technology was provided by individuals out of Fort Wayne. It is so easy to use for us. We're sending out a press release now, it's done already. The main things for people to remember though is that voice call is always better. Text to 911 should be used only when you cannot make a voice call. This whole thing comes completely, we have no financial responsibility to this. We have it provided by the state to do this. It especially helps the deaf, hard of hearing, and people with speech problems, because TTY is an old, very old technology. It just doesn't cut it anymore. Indiana Relay is a great service, but this is going to help out with that. And that's really all I have to say about that. I do have one other thing that we'd like to bring up, which is why Judy and Kristen are sitting here. At the fair this year, as part of our constant push for Smart 911, Judy came up with an idea, and that was to basically tag kids with wristbands at the fair that provided a cell phone number for their parents or whoever they were with in case they got lost. They gave, between Judy, Tristan, Gina Kennedy, who's the association manager, as well as Scott Beltway, who's our GIS person, and Jamie Bogan, who's one of our assistant supervisors, worked the fair for 10 days, handed out over 7,600 of these wristbands to had 17 that, missing children that were actually logged in the files. 5 missing kids without the wristbands took over 30 minutes to find the parents. The 12 with the wristbands took an average time of 3 minutes to find the parents. So this was all Judy's brainchild, interesting. I just merely said, okay. So, the fair board was very appreciative of it. The sheriff's department was as well. It just worked out so well. They want us, other events now want us to be present. Just keep on pushing this smart message. So,
That's the last one for you. What about now sending all those people text messages telling them to sign up their homes for the smart man? It's very.
We passed out literature along with the wristband. So that was kind of, a lot of times the literature became our writing pad that we wrote on the wristband.
Sure.
Then we handed them the literature and talked about it. But the safety, the public relations element, that we represent Portage County.
Sure.
And people knew that we cared about our citizens and we cared about all of our citizens. And that was really magnificent. It created a conversation a lot of parents were ready to have with children when they visited the fair. And so that, like, it continued on to, but I have to say, without your approval, John, in crunching the numbers, we wouldn't have been able to order 10,000 wristbands and provide them to our people. And I'm just grateful for this.
Well, that's wonderful. You're all commended.
Don't know where we're gonna go from now. People want it everywhere. We don't have, so it's like, oh, it's gonna be fun.
That's really great. I think we're going to go ahead and set up, you got all those phone numbers still, go ahead and send them a text message. And just give us an email address and we'll send you the information to become a member of Smart 911.
May I does that. With public safety in mind, we have recommended that people take their numbers home with them so they weren't floating around in garbage cans. So that we don't have those numbers. Those kids wore them and then they took them home.
other than I know all of my staff are seeing us calling now at 3 o'clock in the morning, so they're gonna miss them. That's all I have.
Thanks again. Thanks for the great idea.
Thank you.
Martin White, daily contracts. Next question.
Hello. We have agreements with Comissioners and strong motion for purchasing alcohol corporation, and we need to have a new signature from all of you to approve the exact same contract we had, it's just a new one.
Have they signed the contract?
Yes, I have.
Any questions? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the executive contract agreement.
Motion second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Sharon Lippens, yes, U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank decided to go ahead and sign that contract.
They did. We told them we want our business to sign, they signed right away.
So we're gonna buy what from them?
We're going to buy 2 production model digital printers for the print shop. So these are going to be the large production model printers that are going to replace the equipment that we recently took back to the company, which is going to result in savings on the equipment. We are increasing the maintenance slightly, but we also increased our figures to accommodate for additional color overages that we were having every month with the increase in color related to the project and everything like that. So that savings is going to be in future budget to do as we cover our overages or savings or whatever. Yeah. There is a third piece of equipment that basically, because we're having a maintenance agreement on it, there's no cost to the equipment itself. And that is our envelope printer, it's called a duplicator. And we have some of the equipment actually stayed the same, we felt the equipment was sufficient for what was needed, but we were able to get a reduced maintenance fee to generate savings as well. So both those sides are being looked at, and pretty much got everybody, equipment in the county identified. I've got a few left, 6 or 7 left, which originally was on the agenda here, which I'd like to remove and suggest that we go out to quote again, reaffirm that whether we want to stay with that as our call, we want to look at some of the other companies that are local to us, and see what they all have.
Excellent idea. I think that we should do that. It's been a very successful program. We give the department's office holders 3 choices, and this is the one we recommend. You give your workload, number of copies you need, or whatever machine requires to, and it's very well.
I make a motion to record the copy contract.
Informal. Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Yes, a lot of the newer equipment that we'll be purchasing, we always include a fax machine, even if the office has an independent fax, because a lot of those independent faxes are quite old. Any fax machines that they had that were independent that they did maintenance on, we had them eliminate that right away. But we've been able to incorporate that as well, and it's been working very well. We're able to get rid of some of the expensive equipment, some of the equipment that's hard to find, going forward, parts and things like that, so there's some savings there as well. But once we complete the entire county overview, then I will come back to you with a report on the grand total savings that we've been able to realize through the program.
Thank you. Reports from Commissioners, Center District.
LPA voucher 1 and 29 for division and smoke road inspection improvement to the county, $9,064 and
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carried. North District has 2 items, LPA voucher 51 and 52 for Porter County Bridge 156, Porter Avenue over Coffee Creek to reimburse the county $2,189.32 and $1,220. Recommend approval. Motion is second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Secondly, LPA voucher number 2 for Porter County Bridge number 165, County Road 600 East over Little Calumet River to reimburse the county $20,600.81. Recommend approval. Motion is second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carried. South District.
Acceptance of Grand Prairie subdivision phase 2. Improvements have been installed in accordance with the standard specifications and requirements of Porter County. Recommend approval.
Motion is second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All districts, LPA voucher 2 for inspection of 126 bridge structures in Porter County Phase 1 to reimburse the county $14,819.20. Recommend approval. Motion is second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And secondly, LPA standard U.S. Department of Transportation Title 6 assurances outlining responsibilities for the receipt of federal funds. The Porter County Board of Commissioners hereby agrees that as a condition to receiving any federal financial assistance from the Department of Transportation, we will comply with Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Recommend approval. Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Same sign. Motion carried. Correspondence. We have on file the Treasurer's Monthly Report for June 2014. We have a request for approval by the Hoosier Rails to Trails Council to endorse the bike route to be used throughout Portage County.
We're here, actually.
Come on up. How are you this afternoon?
Doing well. Do we can sit down?
Yeah, if you're not too sure. You don't have a thumb drive or a disc we can put on the screen to show the general public view?
No, but I could probably,
Okay.
plenty of maps.
Okay. That can kind of verbally tell us the route, how's that?
Sounds good to me.
Are
Actually, first I'll introduce myself. I'm Raymond Porter from the Hoosier Rails to Trails Council. The Hoosier Rails to Trails Council is a non-for-profit organization that advocates for trails and greenways throughout the state of Indiana. We have a sister agency, Indiana Trails Fund, that acquires private donations or monies to build rail trails throughout Indiana. We have a big trail project going on in Bedford. And we're also trying to bring the United States Bicycle Route 35 through Indiana. We're also planning on setting up a cross-state bicycle route system in Indiana as well. The first of these routes will be Route AA from Dyer, Indiana to Fort Wayne, Indiana. And will connect many different cities and towns to each other throughout northern Indiana, and trails as well for touring cyclists. Today I brought along a map of the route through Porter County, as well as a couple short paragraphs explaining our endorsement forms, which I'm sure you all received, as well as the business card.
So the trail begins in Porter County at the Prairie Dune Trail, is that correct?
In Porter County, the trail does start on the Prairie Dune Trail. It comes through it from Lake County. Of course, our trail originally starts in Dyer.
So that you're going to be just north of US 6 in Porter County, about, or south of US 6 on at County Line Road, Lake Porter County Road.
Correct. And then would head up to Chesterton, where it would take a left-hand turn on, I think, 15th Street at about a half mile, a couple blocks north, and then head northeast on Woodlawn Avenue to, then would take a left-hand turn on Waverly Avenue up towards the little Calumet Trail.
And follow the Calumet Trail
To the end
county
of
on
Porter
east
County.
of the Fort County line.
Mhm.
How many miles total is that covered?
Rough guesstimate, probably 25, somewhere in the ballpark of 25 miles.
And your endorsement doesn't provide any funding for maintenance or upkeep of these trails?
That's because none will be needed. And signage on the trail, I mean, it would be nice, but it wouldn't be required, as it require maintenance as well. So,
I wouldn't be so sure about no maintenance being required on the Calumet Trail. It's been a goal of ourselves for a number of years, and we've put a lot of money into making that trail what it is right now. Just what it is right now for the dog.
yeah, actually, last week I presented at a city council, town council meeting at Chesterton, and explained to them the route for Chesterton. They seem to be on board with it for the most part.
Chesterton's portion is pretty minimal, and then it goes through the border, and then the border portion turns into the Calumet, which is a 9-mile stretch of trail. And it's been a constant source of problems, even for maintenance, because the right-of-way is all owned by NIPSCO, and they pretty much determine what we can and can't do on the trails.
These spots are known by tourism,
No, I have not.
Anything else you have for us, Ron?
No, not offhand. I do, I don't know if I explained this well in the endorsement letter or not, but the reason why we need approval from all the different municipalities this cross-state bicycle route runs through is to go along with the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials standards, ASHTO standards that need to be approved by different towns and municipalities, as well as NDOT as well.
Okay. Is there a motion? Motion? And a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, we also have, on file response data for Porter EMS per their contract, for January 1 through June 2014, dated June 30th. We have a request for approval by Valparaiso Community Festivals and Events to use the courthouse grounds beginning Wednesday, September 3rd through Saturday, September 6th, for the 36th Annual Popcorn Festival. 36th. They would also like to know if the parking garage will be open that day of the festival and what the fee will be. You want to have the garage open that night?
I want to have it.
Do
you want?
Will you
No,
have the garage
but-
open that night?
Well, I will have to put somebody in charge of it. I won't be ready.
Okay. Can you do that, please?
Yes, I can try.
Is there a motion to grant the request? No.
What about the amount?
We'll get to that in a second. Motion second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. I say $10. Motion. Second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. That makes making change a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Will it be open?
I don't know, talk to Heidi, she was sure.
Yeah.
Time is it will be open? From what time? From 6 to 6?
Yeah, 6 to 6, I think. is on the list. Thank you very much. We have a request for approval by Mike Losey of Morgan Township Volunteer Fire Department to use county roads to detour traffic from State Road 49 between County Road 300 South and 400 South for the 16th annual Malden, 16th, annual Malden Labor Day Parade on Monday, September the 1st, 2014, from 12 to 1 p.m. Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Request to approve the standard form of agreement from Maris and Son Roofing for the roof replacement at the Porter County Museum. Motion second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Request to approve a memorandum of understanding with the Town of Porter Redevelopment Commission for RDA funds for trail project. It's an MOU for us and the Town of Porter for using RDA funds. Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. ETAP. Pardon? What is it? We have other trails. We have a resolution. Everybody's retiring. This is getting, Porter County Board of Commissioners recommending Deborah S. Butterfield. Whereas Deborah S. Butterfield has shown dedication to the Porter County government for the past 23 years. And whereas Deborah S. Butterfield has always provided courteous, attentive service to all persons requiring service or information of the Porter County Information Technologies Office. And whereas Deborah S. Butterfield has always exhibited the highest standard of professionalism in dealing with people from all walks of life. And whereas Deborah S. Butterfield not only takes with her a vast knowledge of county government, but a fondly remembered friendship of her peers and the public dealt with over the past 22 years. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby resolved by the Porter County Board of Commissioners that Deborah S. Butterfield should be and is hereby recognized for dedicated years of loyalty service to Porter County government, and specifically the Porter County Information Technologies Office, all of which has been resolved by the Porter County Board of Commissioners this 5th day of August, 2014. Is there a motion? Motion. And a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Deb, thank you very much. You want to come up? What are you going to do with yourself? Okay. Now tell her where the good times are. You know, part of the thing that precipitated, and a lot of you have read about it in the paper, the Indiana Public Employees Retirement Fund is greatly changed. And those people that have numbers of years of service, like Deb and Al, if they don't take their retirement, October 1st of this year, it goes from 11% to 7.5%. So it's quite an initiative. And then at the beginning of next year, it drops to 5%. So, and they want to, by 2016, get it down to a market rate. So that's what governments and municipalities all across the state are losing a wealth of knowledge and individuals because of this. And it's just too bad. We really appreciate all your service. Okay, let's see where we're going. Request for transfer of funds, ITS, Fund 1,050, $2,550 from 3120 consultants to 1110 salaries. This is because of a need to replace retiring employees two weeks before their vacation time expires, and they would like transfer funds to allow the new person to start. Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. We're going to have a public hearing on an ordinance. Oh, sure. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're out of money in our budget for healthcare, so we need to have the council to appropriate it and figure out where it's going to be from. We've got 7 months to figure out track of what it is.
No response to the request of make sure the funds are available to satisfy the claim of the students, no need to pay and for years in current. We basically have had to go ahead and extract all the money from the specialty funds, formerly known as the funny funds, those that generate more revenue outside the general fund, and had to draw the third and fourth quarter forward just to be able to satisfy our responsibilities. And so where we sit right now is literally we've exhausted every point of revenue with respect to satisfying healthcare claims. And we went ahead and did some projections. Again, I spoke with the attorney from the council today because I really wasn't sure who makes this request for appropriation. But was advised that because because the commissioners are in their care, that they would naturally make that request. So we did a projection for the first 6 months of 13 and the last 6 months of 13, and then the first 6 months of 14 with respect to the cash required, money that came in for funds of match of insurance, stop loss, employee refunds, COBRA, employee benefits, studio awards, interest, anywhere money was coming in or going out of the program. And what we came up with is a relatively conservative figure based upon what we think would happen. Again, I think Mike's in our audience, Mike will speak to you, just don't know what's going to happen, but we believe that you really should have about $3.6 million available to you between now and the end of the year to satisfy the request. Everyone knew when the budget went through that this day would come. Candidly, my sense would be September, October timeframe. Now it's an August, September timeframe, but again, you can't control how the things come in and the money needs to go out. So conservatively, I think it would be responsible to ask the council to appropriate. And again, I make no policy here, obviously, but to make sure that we have uninterrupted payment on the money available to students and those satisfied claims that $3.6 million be appropriate.
Michelle, do you know currently what is available that we could draw from in the general fund studies? for transfer, and I'd say we ask for a request for transfer from hospital interest to that line item to fund our claims, and I want to emphasize, these are claims. These are things that people have gone for service for, and we have doctors, physicians, radiologists, everybody waiting to be paid, and we can't pay them because of the underfunding that occurred by the council of our insurance. So I'd say we go to the council, and my recommendation is we ask for $5 million to put in that fund, so that if we find ourselves in this situation again, we don't have to have members. I mean, the council meets once a month. How are we supposed to be able to fund this type of situation? So I say we ask for $5 million from hospital interest, and if it's not used, it goes back to hospital interest.
Or you'll be already encumbered for, until the next year, which is, encumber plans in December, you realize December, May, and January.
Second.
Motion.
And I guess all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carries. And I'd like to throw a caveat in there, I don't, when's the council meet again?
The 26th.
The 20, I'd appreciate it if they would consider having an emergency session to hear this issue. I mean, we've got over $400,000 worth of unpaid bills as we sit here today, and I don't think it's too much to ask for them to come together and sit down for a minute and go over this request. All right, now we're going to have a public hearing on an ordinance creating a stormwater management program and a stormwater management board. This will be the first reading. I was hoping you were going to be here. You wouldn't miss it, huh? So what we're talking about is bringing Porter County into the 21st century.
Correct. This has been working on this with Attorney Knight, and this does follow state statutes with creating a stormwater utility board or stormwater management board. This board, per state statute, consists of the 3 county commissioners and the county surveyor. We have written the ordinance to state 3 county commissioners and their designees, and the county surveyor or their designee. For this particular board, we've also written in where it would create an advisory committee to review the construction work or proposed developments or drainage work that needs to be done across the county. And it would be an advisory board and give the recommendations to the full board, which would be the commissioners and the surveyors to fund these particular projects. We have written out, it does cover the jurisdictional area of the unincorporated area, excluding the conservancy districts. And I guess I should let Attorney Knight explain that one, but this particular ordinance right now has all the unincorporated area, but legally describes out all the conservancy districts that have within their charge or their duties set up a circuit court drainage or erosion control or flood control. 3 items that are allowed, I think, up to 7 or 9 different charges. So all of those that do have drainage, erosion control, or flood control have been written down and considered at this time.
Well, we may ask for a memorandum of understanding with those conservancies to join.
Correct. The conservancy districts, by the nature of their setup with the court system, have full role status and power over the stormwater management issues that Bob just mentioned. And so for that reason, they can't be automatically included into the stormwater management district the county creates without their approval and consent, because they need to actually relinquish their home rule status if they want to elect to do so. So they'll be asked and invited to participate in this district as we move forward.
Yeah, I think
2009 is when it started.
And of those projects, we have finished all, and there's some.
On the 29, there's 2 that are not completed, but they're in the process of being worked on. And that's
left out.
not counting all the other drainage that's going on.
Out of 29, and that's just borrowing from Peter to pay Paul and getting money to get those done. And this would provide a definite source of funding for those issues. It is nothing different than the average homeowner in Valparaiso or Chesterton, Heber, or County doesn't pay with their monthly water bill or sewage or whatever's added to that. And this would in fact make it a lot fairer, especially to the farmers in our county who, the way our ordinance has always read in the past, we're only the ones that were taxed, because if you didn't live on a legal drain, you couldn't be assessed. So you've got a farm field here, and he pays a great big assessment, and a subdivision over here, and they pay nothing, because they're all in the county. So this would make that much fairer across the board for everyone. We're not discussing today fee structure. We're going to do that at another meeting. Today, we're simply creating the board. Is that correct?
And I want to point out that it's also, it brings several things on the, at the MS4 program.
Yeah, I guess I skipped over that. They would bring in the MS4 part of this too, where we're looking at water quality issues, soil erosion. Right, I mean, we're hoping to also look at this to be an inspection tool for new developments that are coming in to assure that they are building to the county specifications. I don't know that.
We're not doing that today.
We're not doing the fee structure. Okay, so we've explained it, and we'll go ahead and open this public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in support of this ordinance? Step right up here. There's a microphone right here at the end, right on that stand right there.
I'm familiar with that.
No, that one doesn't work.
That one doesn't work?
Right there, yes,
This one?
the handheld one. You can take it out of that slot, and if you just turn the button on there, you can, I just pull it towards you. Does it work? Push the button. Is it working now?
Not really.
The technical advisor there.
1, 2.
I got a lot of.
All right, start with 1.
Right. 1, 2.
There you go.
Name and address first, please.
Yes, my name is Herbert Reed, R-E-A-D. I live at 791 North Calumet Avenue, Valparaiso, 46383. That is unincorporated. Porter County is south of Route 6, along Calumet, which is sometimes known as Old 49, and I used to drive it before we had the bypass. And I'm speaking today on behalf of the Porter County chapter of the Isaac Walton League, which owns land which would be affected by this proposed ordinance. Now, the Isaac Walton League is a national conservation organization founded in 1922. Our Porter County chapter was founded in 1958. So we've been around for more than 50 years. And the record, public record, is full of various comments that we have made on conservation and environmental issues, ranging from the Indiana Dunes to, believe it or not, stormwater. The organization is a 501c3 and does a lot of the things that are called for in this ordinance. We have been talking about the need for regarding stormwater as a management issue rather than merely getting rid of the water and dumping it on somebody else's shoulder. We've been talking about that for a long time, but I specifically want to refer in the ordinance where it says, one of the whereases,
whereas all real property in Porter County, including property owned by public and tax-exempt entities, contributes to stormwater runoff and either uses or benefits from the county's stormwater system. Well, yes and no. And if you'll bear with me, I'll explain some of what I'm talking about. First of all, our chapter owns both wetland and woodlands. Some of it is along a man-made ditch, and some of it is natural, probably left that way maybe far back in the last glacial era. Much of it is west of County Line Road and east of the National Lakeshore Blue Heron. We have been attempting to acquire land for protection purposes and wetland protection purposes to eventually connect with the national park at the Blue Heron unit. Our land also abuts state-owned land, which is bought fairly recently, or acquired recently, for similar purposes. So hopefully we could provide a wetland corridor all the way from County Line Road to Blue Heron. There are other organizations similar to ours that have similar purposes. I'm a member of some of these other organizations, but I think they have the same concerns. Now, we benefit the county, first of all, by preventing construction of hard surfaces on the land we own, land and or wetlands. Therefore, not increasing the rapid runoff, which contributes to flooding. We have no plans on our property. All of our property is vacant, undeveloped. And we do not intend to have any hard surfaces or buildings on this property. Secondly, we provide what's sometimes called upstream impoundments, upstream storage of floodwaters, or what could be floodwaters going downstream. So we provide a flood control benefit to the county. Now, this ordinance talks about fee structure. I don't know, as you mentioned, that fee structure has been established. I have to say that our chapter only gets about $5 per person per year, and that is earmarked for other chapter expenses. But I'm basically concerned here about the principle involved. I noticed that under one of the sections here, jurisdictional area, you carved out an exemption for conservancy districts, as Mr. Thompson has explained. And one of the reasons for that is flood protection, or flood prevention and control. Well, we're doing that free of cost, free to the county. We've invested our own money, which we raised from private donations of land and grants, and bring that to the table, your table, county table, and we want that to be considered. You've gone down here and talked about a stormwater advisory council that says that will consist of agricultural, business, institutional, and residential communities. Well, what about the conservation communities? The county is concerned about money. You can't and shouldn't overlook the value, the money value, the monetary value that these private organizations and in some cases individuals bring to the county. For example, here on section Stormwater Fund and Revenue Administration, you mentioned that the Stormwater Fund shall be used for acquisition of property by gift, purchase, or condemnation necessary to conduct, operate, and maintain stormwater management facilities. Very good. Yes, they should be doing that. But we're doing that free, no cost to the county. And we feel that any fee structure, tax, levy, or whatever you come up with eventually, that what the monetary value we bring would far exceed whatever you might charge in the future. So that's basically what I want to say. I want to make one other personal comment. I did serve on the County Plan Commission, and as a few of you know, I frequently, during those 8 years, advocated that we use the term water management, stormwater management, instead of merely drainage. Drainage is necessary, it's part of it, but that suggests that we're really shoving the water down on somebody else. So I frequently, at that time, spoke about the need for the county acquiring, by whatever means that they could, of upland storage of water, stormwater. So it's been a long-term thing with me personally, as well as the organization I represent. And I hope that when you consider this further, that you will take these comments and my recommendations under consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. One question, how many acres does the development own in Florida?
Well, there is about, in 2 parcels along County Line Road, just south of the old New York Central tracks, roughly 10, 15 acres. It's in 2 separate parcels. Then along the east branch of the Little Calumet River, which at that point is ditched, running from County Line Road to Reynolds Creek, the intersection of Reynolds Creek and Little Cal, abutting county, state-owned property. That's about 20 acres, and we are hopefully in the process of buying an additional 40 acres that would add to that. All of that being a mixture of land types, some wetland, some wooded land, some prairie. Some of it was agricultural that we plan to put together a restoration plan for. It hasn't been done yet, so we don't own the property yet. We're going to work on it. And we raised the funds, starting with a donation of land many years ago, and use that as matching funds for private grants and other grant sources. Does that answer it?
Pretty much, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Come on up. Microphone's right there. Turn it off.
It's on.
Hello, I'm Peg Moore, and I am representing the Shirley Hines Land Trust, and so I...
Do you have your address?
My address is 1100 North, 475 East, Chesterton. And I come not quite as well prepared as for her, because I didn't have the ordinance, and I came really with a 5 or 10 minute speech that I made about fees, because we have had quite a bit of experience with stormwater fees in other parts of our, we're a land trust in Lake, Porter, and LaPorte County, and in the last 2 years, we've been dealing with stormwater fees. And so I feel like I have learned a lot about them over the years, and would really like that our organization could give input when we work on the fee structure. But I also agree with her that what we do with our natural areas, and we have about 430 acres in Porter County in 180 property numbers, so some are very, very small, like 1/10 of an acre or less, and some are, one is up to 80 acres, so they vary considerably. But all of them, with the exception of our New Meadowbrook office, is pervious material, wetlands, uplands, with native plants, which are serving to protect the watershed, to serving to act as a sponge, to soak up the water, clean it, filter it, and slowly release it. In fact, one of the things that I always read in EPA documents as they suggest what water districts should do, they say plant buffer zones, plant greenways, plant native plants because they are so good at absorbing the water and retaining it. And these are the things that Mother Nature has done for us, and we are preserving and protecting and enhancing these properties so that they will continue to do this. One other point I'd like to make, I won't give all of this, but I would like to have more input at another time. Because we've had some exorbitant fees from certain entities, and actually none from others, because it was vacant land and they didn't charge for it. We asked the Conservation Law Center in Bloomington to give an opinion on the law that Indiana passed regarding these fees. And they gave us a 17-page opinion on the legality of some of the parts of this law. And I would like to go into that with you sometime, but perhaps this isn't the best time. They felt that there were a couple of parts of it that would be unconstitutional if they were challenged in court, in the fee structures. But I suppose before we get into fee structures, I would like to just close by saying I agree that these natural areas are contributing to the solution, not the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, we will take up the fee structure at another time, and that's kind of why we did it this way, that we wanted to create the entity and then work from there, but without the entity, we really didn't have any basis to be coming in and just saying, willy-nilly, this is what we're going to charge anybody for anything. Is there anyone else that wish to speak? Come on up.
My name is Donald Frame, 1033 North, 400 East. That's in Jackson Township. 1033 North, 400 East is pretty high up in the air. The water runs away. So we've not had to pay a stormwater fee. But the property on the little cow, the county line, which Bert was referring to, was my family farm since the late 1800s. And so we've been paying county tax, drainage tax, because of regulated rain for whatever its inception. And the ditch was dug between 1900 and 1910. So, first of all, I think it's proper that people throughout the county pay their share of the drainage tax regardless of where they live. I think the tax on the regulated rain portion is not correct. I also think, first of all, I'm very much in favor of the stormwater management board, as opposed to digging ditches and running the water back to the lake as quickly as possible, okay, like they did. and I'd like to see that corrected. Took my thought away there. I would like to see, well, I would like to know, first I would like to see conservation in that ordinance. Second, I see nothing about, if you do away with the drainage board, are you also going to do, hopefully, away with the regulated drain requirements, and therefore remove the 75-foot easements that you have on each side of these regulated drains? So that people could put something up there if they wanted to, or if you do things that wouldn't be restricted by that 75-foot easement. Just something to think about. I'm not in favor of stormwater management. I think it's going to be great, but I think these things would need to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you for your input. Come on.
I think you all know who I am. Ed Root, 165 East Highway 6, Valparaiso.
We have to do it because we're recording.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm on the drainage board. And I'm taking some things from your article that was in the paper. We talk about commissioners maybe managing this, or appointees. I think the commissioners have enough to do with what they do. But as a member of that board for some years now, I would like to make a recommendation to you. Dave Burris, who is an engineer, chairman of our board. Harvey Nix, who is on the Kankakee River Board and is also on the Soil and Water. And Mr. Pomeroy, Russ Pomeroy. I think he knows about almost every ditch in Porter County. He's been very valuable in what we do. I would recommend these three people to be on your assignees, because with the experience I've had on the drainage board, there's a lot more to it than just saying yes or no or whatever. That's one thing I'd like to talk about, and I appreciate the opportunity. The other thing is, I've mentioned to the drainage board a couple of times, and it doesn't go very far, but you're talking about fees and paying and so forth. In the experience I've had, water has no boundaries. It goes to the lower spot, it runs to either the Kankakee River or Lake Michigan. And I think it's only fair that we look at, let's use the 911 as an example. This is being thought about, and I think the municipalities should have a little bit of say and a little bit of pay in what the county is doing on these water ditches and so forth. I think it's only fair, because if you look at the difference in the county versus the cities or municipalities, and it was just mentioned about maybe doing away with the easements. You can't maintain a ditch without easements. It's got to have a way to get in and out to it. So the actual work that the county does is way more, in my estimation, than cities. They take care of their manholes and lines and so forth with pumper trucks, where the county has to clear brush, work with the beavers. They have to reseed and do all the expenses that occur after the ditch is cleaned. And that's one reason I think
the city should pay a little bit of something to the county. It's only fair to the unincorporated people. That's my estimation. And I would like to say too, I mentioned about the appointees. Mr. Breisky has enough to do with all of the ins and outs, permits and so forth. Rich Graber is an invaluable person to the county with his knowledge and his expertise and what he does with contractors and all the work that's being done and so forth, knowing what's to be done. So with those two things, management and cost, I would like to see you really look at the cities, municipalities or whatever. The difference in maintenance is quite a bit. I think they should share a little bit because their water runs through our ditches, the county ditches. I think it's only fair. So I thank you folks for listening and let me speak my piece. You have a good day.
Okay, thank you, Ed. We kind of anticipated that when, as Bob said, we through the ordinance, said according to the statute, the commissioners, and that was what it said, the commissioners and the surveyor, and we added the caveat for their designees because we agree with the board. Yes, and they are, that's a recommendation. I don't know where we would be without those people that you mentioned and way back in the project.
They do a good job.
Yeah, and the guy that's sitting in the back row there as well.
Well, he's on his way out, but we're waiting well.
Anyone else wish to speak in favor of this ordinance? Come on up.
I'm Ed Sykowski. I live at 607 North, 70 East, Valparaiso, and I live in my boyhood home for the last 67 years on Long Lake. I represent also, I'm the president of the Woodville Foundation, a group of citizens in Liberty and some in Jackson that have some concerns. Now, if I understand right, all this drainage is in unincorporated areas. Is that correct?
Well, rain doesn't really care where it falls.
Yeah, but at least the area. And we, in an unincorporated areas like Liberty Township, feel we don't have a voice. And I recommend that possibly that each one of the township boards should have a representative on this board.
The statute that creates the board is the state statute that says the members are the commissioners and the surveyor, and we expanded that to give us each a representative. We can't, there are, how many townships there are?
Yeah, but many of these boards don't have unincorporated representatives. We have little or no voice. So my recommendation is to consider having the representatives from the unincorporated areas that are most affected by county drainage.
We've anticipated that in the advisory board capacity as well, that they would be able to meet and give advice or give their recommendations.
Okay, I'm taking my highlighter, I'm highlighting that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this ordinance? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this ordinance? Third and final time. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this ordinance? Hearing none, public hearing is closed. Commissioners, comments?
I like the idea of adding the advisory council
Yes.
And the townships are going to have to be established by this body once we get the body established. Then we get to work on the fee structures and take into consideration all the comments that have been voiced here today.
Good comment.
I think that was just to make the advisory body part of it, and the population of that.
To also add a little caveat so that we were not going back and naming every single group throughout the such there, say, as the stormwater management board sees fit, serve on the advisory council.
Change the motion.